Hi guys, and welcome to the Business as Unusual show. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to 2021. Feels a little bit reminiscent at the moment of 2020, but I'm sure it's just all the good things are about to happen really soon. Okay, so let's keep that positivity, let's keep that focus, because I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun when we get to the end of the year. Let's keep hoping for that anyway. Yes, it's been an interesting break, I'm sure, for all of you. So we're going to kick things off as we normally do with a bit of news. You'll notice a lot of new stuff that we've been testing out, and I'm going to say that we prepared this. We finished setting it all up at least 2-3 weeks ago. And by that, I mean literally 2 minutes ago was the last thing that we've added. So some of the sounds might be wrong. Some of the levels might be wrong, but we're going to push on, okay? Because it's all about innovation and learning from our mistakes very quickly. So there's no doubt going to be some today, but we shall battle through and hopefully have a bit of fun at the same time. So we've got some new features as well that we're going to be doing on the show today. So let's kick off with a little bit of news to start with. It's not all that surprising, but the US are calling for Donald Trump to be impeached. See what the guys have done there, which will soon see him lose out on lots and lots of presidential benefits in his retirement. And I'm sure we'll be talking more about that next week. In other news, this year has seen a record number of people signing up to Veganuary, with 500,000 taking on the 31-day challenge. So good luck and get in touch if you want some more support. This is my second year now. As well, which is going really well. So yeah, feel free to say hi in chat, reach out if you've got any questions around that. Easy on the abuse though, okay? And actually chat doesn't work on this at the moment. You can say it on the platform, but I can't put it through onto the stream yet, so we're going to have that ready for next week. And finally, millions are flocking from WhatsApp to other encrypted message services after new terms means that outside of the UK and Europe, you must allow the app to share data with Facebook and to continue using it. I think Signal has been the one that I've seen a lot more chat around. So that's something that we've seen a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, let's get on with Business as Unusual. Hi guys, and welcome back. Just to give you an update of what we're going to be doing today. So we have a fantastic guest, Rebecca Smith from Kent Business School. So we're going to be talking to her in just a second, and we've got a few new features. So we're going to be trying out the burning question of the week. So the question is focused around, were Twitter right to ban Donald Trump? So we're going to find out Rebecca's view on that as we come to the next section. We've also got the Mastermind Quiz, so some quizzes, just some questions to see how Rebecca gets on with that, as well as, of course, finding out more about herself and the business that she's in and the challenges, no doubt, that they've been facing over the last nearly year. And just as a reminder, it started for us in the UK in terms of the first lockdown on the 23rd of March. How do I remember that date? It's my birthday. So it looks like I might potentially spend 2 birthdays in a row in lockdown, which I've now decided that, like the Queen, I'm going to move my birthday into the summer so I can enjoy those properly, hopefully, when everything's in a bit more of a normal state. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Rebecca. Rebecca, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks, Luke.
Very good. Good to see you. Thank you very much for coming on the show. How's 2021 treating you so far?
It's okay. The internet's gone down at home, which is why I'm in the office today. So that could have been better.
That
But I
yeah.
feel like it's a judgment because all the way through the summer, I was so smug about my connection. It was so good. It was so slick. And now it's all coming home to roost,
Yeah.
and I'm being punished.
Instant karma kind of happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I mean the internet's quite an integral part to the kind of world that we're living in at the moment. I mean it would be pretty challenging without that as well. Do you guys use Google at all in terms of not just the search engine, but the apps and the kind of the Gmail and things like that at all?
I at home do, but no, not as an
Okay.
institution. We're Teams folk.
So
Um,
yeah, so we had a
here.
slight panic when Google went down recently for I think 45 minutes, and it was just kind of like, what next? What next 2020? What can 2020 throw at us? It's
Absolutely.
Google going
It has forced us all to reassess what's important. You didn't realise how important delivery drivers were, for example,
yeah,
until your entire life depended on them.
yeah, absolutely. It is a bit crazy. Right, so what we're going to do now, again, as I mentioned, we have got some new features on the show. The first one is the burning question of the week related to Donald Trump. So let's get kick off with that. Let's see if these transitions work as well. Okay, so the first question that we're going to be, or the question we're looking at here is, was Twitter right to ban Donald Trump from the platform, or are they inhibiting free speech, and are they silencing a ringleader? What do we think? So right, we're just going to go to that. That's there. Okay, what's your thoughts on this? Have you been kind of I'm sure you've seen what's happening in America in terms of the kind of the Capitol riots. What's your thoughts on kind of the social media freedom of speech perspective? Like, where do you think they kind of should
Yeah,
draw the line?
it's been my 3 o'clock obsession, getting the phone out and seeing what's happened in America now. I think they're absolutely right to take him off the
Yeah,
platform. They should have done it long ago. Um, I do believe absolutely in freedom of speech, but with that comes responsibility not to tell lies, and not to use platforms like that to incite violence. And I'm sorry, cross the line massively. We need freedom of speech, we need freedom of expression, but that's like saying it's all right to murder someone because that's your freedom of expression that you're cross
yeah,
with them.
yeah.
There have to be
Okay.
boundaries.
So yeah, but yeah, agree. I think that's I absolutely agree. I think the question. So you mentioned, and I was having this conversation with someone around whether they should have approached this earlier, and whether or not Twitter, should have stepped in earlier. But one of the things I was thinking about is that if you're, where who guides Twitter and Facebook, who determines what they can and can't do? Like surely normally in a normal world, you have a government that makes hopefully relatively logical decisions around that. But in this, and so normally, if someone in the UK was to say something outrageous on one of those social platforms, it then suddenly goes to the government to say that's inappropriate behaviour. But when the government themselves, particularly the president in America, being the main sort of ringleader, who do the social platforms go to say who's right? And if they then go above them, suddenly they're the responsible for determining what is right and what is wrong. They become the kind of the judge, jury, and sort of executioner around freedom of speech. Like how do you kind of how could they get around that, or is that something that I guess why they've had to hold it back till this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a reasonable and democratic society, people can go quite far in expressing views. And perhaps, although Donald Trump's claims about the election and those kind of things, and other things he's put on Twitter were questionable, in my
Mm,
opinion. Perhaps they didn't cross that line, but I really believe that his reaction to the Capitol and his part in instigating that revolution, I guess it was an attempted coup,
mm,
really went too far. It's interesting. We have lots of democratic institutions in this country, in the free world. So it's not just about government, it's also about the judiciary. And also, I
yeah,
think people have a huge part to play. And that's where social media really references itself in, is are people horrified by what's happened,
Yeah.
and if we're truly horrified, then that's what propels them into action. So it's important that we keep being horrified by things that are wrong and unjustified, because the power is with us, not always with governments, not always with the judiciary.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is it's a really, hopefully, relatively unusual situation, except for potentially what would normally be, sort of, I would say, third world countries where there is, more of a dictatorship that's, that's established dictatorship, as opposed to what would be classified as a modern democracy, where that sort of thing you'd like to think shouldn't happen. So it's hopefully, something that is a bit of an anomaly. What do you think happens next to Donald Trump after all this? Where does he go?
Well, looking at the headlines today, impeachment. Yeah, that will be interesting to see how that unravels or goes forward.
Yeah, it could be a really interesting one. Yeah. So as I said, I think this will be one of those ones where it's going to be an ongoing feature on this show. I suspect an ongoing kind of feature that we'll kind of come back to.
The soap opera.
Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? It does feel like a bit like a soap opera. Brilliant. Okay, cool. Well, it looks like that transition worked all right. So that was good. That was our new feature, a burning question of the week. So I'm very pleased that that's kind of kicked off. Now, one of the things that we're going to be jumping into is the Mastermind Quiz. So you will be top of the leaderboard. Okay, so that's good news. And kind of partly because at this point there is essentially nobody else that's done the quiz, so that's a good thing. So you will essentially be top of the leaderboard. That's the win right there. Your choice. Yeah, exactly. We can never take that away. The choice that you, or your specialist topic, is Agatha Christie, the works of Agatha Christie. What's the sort of behind that?
I love Agatha Christie's books. I probably know them as well as any books that I've ever read. So as I wasn't allowed to have the Kenton Medway Business Summit as my specialist subject, which is something I do know all about, I went with Agatha.
Okay, fair enough. Really cool. That makes sense. But before we get into that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you get on, it'd be actually good to know a little bit more. It'd be good fun regardless. This is part of the joys of this. But before we kind of get to that, it'd be really nice to know a little bit more about yourself and also the business. So we've got. I'm just going to jump to this. This is the elevator pitch. So give us a 60-second kind of breakdown of the work that you do. What the organisation does, and potentially a little bit about what's been happening. I'm sure we'll go past the 60-second mark, but if you can kick that off in just a second as we go to the elevator pitch. Over to you, Rebecca. 60 seconds.
Okay, great. So at the moment, my project that I'm working on is the Kenton Medway Business Summit, which returns for a fourth fantastic, fabulous and amazing year on Friday. It's virtual. Of course it's virtual. Everything's virtual. So that's new for us, but we're using an amazing platform. What isn't new is the amazing speakers that we have lined up, with everything talking about inward investment, the latest economic picture, business support for you, and also amazing emotion AI. How can we use AI to understand how people are thinking and feeling? We've got a world expert bringing that. There's also workshops where we can get together and we can talk about the future of our county and how we can make this the best place to live, work and do business. So that's the business summit. That's what I'm doing. The business school, we're still here. We're still running. We're still teaching students, and we're still doing research, so it's all good.
Look at that, a professional. It's going to reset, so I'm going to quickly jump back out of that one. Fantastic. So you've been clearly keeping yourself extremely busy. What platform are you using for the for the virtual event on the Friday?
Summit.
What are you using?
So we're using Remo.
Oh, cool. I wondered if it might be
an amazing platform. We got the test site set up today, and I was taking the sponsors around, and they were like, "Oh man, it's amazing!" So it was really exciting. I just love it's a little bit gamified,
yes.
And to me that just like brings the fun. And it's so easy to connect with people. You choose your table, you sit down, you go to another table, and it's going to be really great. I'm really looking forward to it. I would always rather be in real life, but as we can't do that, this is like definitely the closest to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a really good platform actually. I think it's the most sort of intuitive networking platform I've come across so far. The ability to kind of click and move around tables, it kind of feels a little bit. It's almost easier. I think. I don't know if you have you done much virtual networking at all.
I was in your. This is going to sound like you asked me that question deliberately. I was in the Christmas party for the chamber.
Were you? I didn't see you there.
No, exactly. You were very busy keeping us all entertained with some fun and games, which was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I've done a lot. I did when we were deciding which platform to use for the summit, I did a bit of a virtual tour of networking conferencing platforms. I went kind of around the world, from America over to Germany to Hong Kong, looking at different things. And there's some really nice functionality out there, but I don't think anything comes close to Remo.
Nice. Oh, that's very cool. So what's the sort of how as a school, how have you overcome some of the challenges? I mean, so like our daughter is 6 and she's just started her kind of very light touch kind of remote learning. So it's kind of half an hour session with the teacher, and then my wife kind of takes over with the homeschooling. But obviously, for different age groups, there's quite a lot more work they actually have to do. How's that been going? What have been the positives, and what are potentially the negatives of obviously the impact of lockdown?
So we moved very quickly to online teaching. We use Teams, which isn't perfect, but it's good. We had quite a lot of electronic systems already set up, so a lot of our learning resources were already online. The library is accessible online. So it was just a question of looking at the content and how we deliver it, and how you kind of break it down into smaller bite-sized chunks, rather than expecting someone to sit and watch an hour-long lecture. How can we communicate that, make that more interactive, build exercises into it? And I suppose the positives of it were that, we don't have to travel. I would normally spend quite a lot of time travelling between Canterbury and Medway, between campuses. But actually, I've got all that time back. The students have got that time back. And, it is possible to collaborate online. And the students have really, really given it a good go, as have colleagues in coming up with new content ideas. So it's been challenging. I won't deny that. And obviously things like kind of the social side of university life have been really, really impacted. So, where we would have, a campus with thousands and thousands of students on, it's empty. The bars are shut, the club's shut, that's probably the saddest side of it, I think, that social side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Education has carried on and continued, but that has been a real blow.
The bits around that almost make the experience, I guess.
Yeah, joining the football team, or doing all those things. Growing your networks. We'll get back.
What do you think is going to carry forward? It's been as you say, some the businesses have been able to carry on. Schools have been able. It's carried on. Some of it not ideal. What bits do you think that will carry forward, that actually during this process people's either their habits have changed, that their expectations have changed, or their focus around work-life balance? Actually, what sort of things do you think will carry on and be part or blended or work with whatever? So assuming there is no coronavirus and we don't have to socially distance lockdown, what bits will carry on based on what you've been kind of going through over the last sort of 8 to 9 months?
I think that there'll certainly be greater flexibility about whether people work from home, and not so much of a requirement to be at your desk at 9 o'clock every morning. And I think from an education point of view, we will definitely carry forward some elements of online learning. It's a great way to have a global community, because we're not bound by being in the same room all the time. We organised a virtual alumni event back in summer, and we had people from every single continent, across so many time zones. We just got together for an hour and talked about the pandemic and kind of the lessons we were learning from it. We would never have had that community if we'd organised an in real life event. We'd have got people from London or wherever we were based. So I think those are the opportunities around what we now know about virtual and about how it is possible to communicate and collaborate and make new connections. And again, like with your networking event before Christmas, I probably wouldn't have made that. I wouldn't have got in the car and driven somewhere and done it. But actually, there was Daniel. He was online from Folkestone, and and we were just kind of still together. And it was fun. So I think that's really possible as well.
It's interesting. I think I was chatting to obviously to that networking group, and I think there's people who are like, actually this kind of works for them. Like they don't because obviously historically networking event often would be in the evening, wouldn't it? So you can finish quite a long day of work, and then it's jump in the car, drive to normally if you're Kent based, it's often Maidstone because it's kind of centrally located in the county, and then you have an hour, 2 hours, and then you've got to go home and basically straight to bed and kind of crack on again the next day, and it's quite a a commitment. And again, I guess those without that travel, you're kind of forced into some of those situations. You're kind of forced into that room with those people that in a networking event maybe you wouldn't go and speak to because you'd be kind of chatting to someone that you did know at the bar in your comfort zone. It pushes you into some of the potential those relationships you may not have actually done in the real world as well, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, that's good to hear. And again, I think we're always trying to look for those positives. It's obviously the world unfortunately surrounds us with negativity because it's pretty challenging. But I'm glad there's some positives in there as well. We are now going to try to do the first ever Mastermind Quiz. Okay, this does require my ability to read the questions as well, which is, I know, challenging for myself to do in a certain speed. So it's not just you, it's we're in this together. Let's run this video and see how we get on. Here we are. New scene. It's exciting, isn't it? I have the questions on my iPhone because my iPad screen's decided not to work. That's great because I'm going to have to do it like this. So this first round...
It's like you're doing a Derek Acora with your mind meld thing.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I was enjoying trying to pose for that one to send to Alex to build that scene. So that's it's worked out nicely there. The first round is the Agatha Christie, or the works of Agatha Christie. And the second round is just going to be kind of general knowledge. Okay, so it's going to be 60 seconds. I'm going to read the question out as quickly but also accurately as I possibly can. If you don't know, just say pass and move on to the next question. If you get it wrong, I'll just say incorrect and move on to the next question. Okay?
Okay.
Right, here we go. We've got 60 seconds. Time starts now. Hercule Poirot first appeared in which 1920 novel?
Mysterious Affair at Styles.
Correct. Second question. Miss Marple lives in which village?
Oh, is it Mary
Correct.
Mead?
Christie won a series of romantic novels using what pseudonym?
Mary Malloran, something like that.
Let's go to the judges. That one is half right, half not. What is the title of Christie's 1923 murder mystery in which a body is found on a golf course?
Murder at the Links.
Very good, correct. Oh my gosh. Miss Adrian Oliver, famous mystery writer, first met Hercule Poirot, famous detective, at bizarre dinner party with a guest list made up of murderers and sleuths. Can you tell me which title of Christie's mystery first published in 1936?
Oh, I can. Cards on the
Correct.
Table?
I finished. So I started, so I'll finish. That was terrible.
You did that on
well, it was. I could hear it counting down. Right. Okay. So the next question, which I would have started had I managed to say the saying that I was supposed to have said, would be what was the name of the girl Hastings fell in love with in Murder on the Links?
Oh, she's Cinderella. That's not her name, but he always calls her that.
Oh, that's not the answer at the moment. Have you got the actual name?
She's one of twins. Bella, something like that. Bella Devine. Oh no, that's her sister. It's one of the Devine twins. Dulcie. There we go.
Guys, I mean, so I can see someone marking it live on the screen. That is the correct answer. I think we go with
More
that,
information
guys.
than you needed.
But exactly that. I think there's extra points for effort. Someone who's in the sheet change that to a yes. Thank you. Okay, so we can update the score. Danny's going to do the conditional formatting. That was fantastic. I'll tell you what. That is a blinder of a round right there. That was incredible. Wow. We now move on to the second round, the general knowledge quiz. This is where it could get tricky. This is where it could get tricky. Okay, kind of move on to the next question. Okay.
Okay.
Right, we're going to put the timer up. We're going to 60 seconds. Off we go. What's the biggest animal in the world?
A giant whale?
A giant whale. No.
Blue whale?
It is the blue whale, but let them work that one out. What year was Heinz established?
What year was what established?
Heinz. As in
Heinz? Oh, it probably says on the tin, doesn't it? 1937?
Incorrect. Moving on. How many times has Andy Murray won Wimbledon playing singles?
Once?
Incorrect. Which country is brie cheese originally from?
France?
Correct. In which franchise would you find the character Katniss Everdeen?
His Dark Materials.
Incorrect. For 1 point, put the following Kardashian Jenners in order of age, oldest to youngest: Chloe, Kylie, Rob, Courtney, Kendall, Kim, and Chris. Tell you what, they're making you work hard for that 1 point. Do you have any idea? Shall I read those again?
None at all.
Shall I read those again?
I'm proud of that as well.
Yeah. I think the guys are going to mark that down. So let's just recap. So the biggest animal in the world was the blue whale, not, what was it?
The giant whale.
Giant whale. I mean,
it's accurate in that it is big.
Yeah, I like where your head was at with it.
I think that's what its friends call it.
If you said the giant blue whale, then I'd have gone with it. But I think we have to kind of give you the incorrect, unfortunately. Heinz was established, I believe it does say on the tin. That's 1869. Andy Murray has. I know, yeah. Andy Murray has won Wimbledon twice. That's in 2013 against Djokovic and 2016 against Milos Raonic. How is it? Raonic? I can't remember how to say that. And the franchise that you would find Katniss Everdeen is the Hunger Games. And just for your reference, again, I'm also proud that you didn't get this correct. The correct answer would be Chris 64, Courtney 41, Kim 39, Chloe 35, Rob 33, Kendall 24, and Kylie 22. That would have been, I'll tell you what, that would have been a fair effort to get that right, to get 1 point, is all I'm going to say. That was a pretty tough question right there. But I have to say, that is pretty impressive. Let's have a quick look at the scores. The guys have totted that up. So, first round, you got 5 points. Your second round, I believe you got 1 point, and your total score, therefore, is 6 points. But I'll tell you what, that is impressive. That first round, you did extremely well. So well done. Congratulations on that one. And of course, that was our first ever Mastermind round, which means by default, but can never take it away from you, you're top of the leaderboard. So congratulations for that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm proud of that.
Absolutely.
On my CV.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's our first game, but I'm pretty confident it's going to take off, and it will be the envy of anybody else. If they get anything lower than that, they're going to be very, very upset. So, I think you can definitely put that on the CV. Congratulations, well done. We are unbelievably running out of time. I don't know where the time goes. Was it any shout outs? Any people that you want to sort of call out and say they've done an absolutely unbelievable job? I think it's a great opportunity to share some kind of positivity. Some people that you've seen are doing a great job, either supporting others or whatever. Anybody that stands out? Any businesses that you think are doing a great job?
Oh, wow. So many people doing amazing things. Again, if there's one positive of the pandemic, it's that ordinary people do amazing and wonderful things. I think for me at the moment, it's not pandemic related, but working on the summit, The marketing team at Kent Business School has been absolutely outstanding. They've been, I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for them. They've been absolute diamonds. So thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, everyone, for being there. And also the summit partners, who are a cool bunch of girls. They really are. I didn't know them. This is my first time organising it. I didn't know them before, but we've spent the pandemic getting to know each other over Teams and Zoom. And again, wouldn't be in the position where we've got a summit on Friday if it wasn't for them.
That's awesome. That's really great to hear. Really, really. I mean, again, there's so many good things, isn't there? Just to shout out all the kind of the good things that have been happening in what is a pretty challenging situation. I just saw someone in chat watching from Holland. Hello, was it Christian? I think it's disappeared on my screen now, so I can't see for sure. But thank you for tuning in from Holland. I can only apologise for Brexit. I mentioned the B word. I can only apologise for the madness that's going on. But thank you for tuning in, and I really appreciate that. And if you'd like to tune in again, we will be back again next week as well. So we're going to be doing this again every single week, same time, which is 4:00, broadcasting across multiple different social platforms. So do keep your eyes open for that. Please do subscribe and reach out if you want to be involved as well. If you want to get involved in the show in some format, do let us know. But I just want to say a massive thanks for joining us today, Rebecca. It's been great to have you. Well done on the quiz as well. It was I didn't know how it was going to pan out, in all honesty, but you did really well. So thank you very much for making that work so well.
Thank you very much indeed for having me, and I'm very proud to have been the first Mastermind D, whatever.
That's what we're going to call them from now on. So that's great. And best of luck with the show and the events that are coming up as well.
Thanks very much indeed.
Guys, that is it from us. It is 4:30, which is about 4.5 hours past the point where it was okay to drink during lockdown, unless, of course, you are enduring dry January. And best of luck to you if you are, and all those New Year's resolutions that you've been working on. As I said, we'll be back again next Wednesday, same time, same place. So do make sure that you follow, subscribe, and you get notifications as and when those go live, and reach out if you do want to get involved. It's been a mad start to the year, but of course it is just business as unusual.